Hi, welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about The Discord of Gods by Jenn Lyons. We've been spending the past 2 weeks doing a complete series reread of the Chorus of Dragons Quintet, and here we are at last with the grand finale, Book 5, available today. The book is going to be on your bookshelves at your local bookshop. If you've pre-ordered it, it'll be heading your way. And if you're just now tuning in, you can go out and find it yourself. I highly recommend because, wow, what a tremendous finale. Lots of things going on all at once. The entire book takes place only over about 2 or 3 days, so there are all of these moving pieces that are sort of coming together in an immediate way and having to be dealt with. Now, we've always operated on sort of a tight time schedule, even as we look at 14,000 years of history with these books. But the tautness of having, a story be retold that recounts the past 4 years or something, as we see in books 1 and 2, to not having really any frame narrative at all for book 5, just all immediately things that need to happen, which was exciting, exhilarating. I was up until 1 in the morning and realized that if I didn't take a break to sleep, that I'd be up all night. And so I would recommend, when you're reading this one, maybe save it for the weekend instead of a weekday, because I think, you, as I did, will find yourself really drawn in and find it a book that's sort of unput-downable, which is, of course, one of our favorite qualities here when we're looking for something to read and to make a drink with. It's a hard book now to talk about because it is the last book in the series, and you don't want to say too much about what came before or spoil the surprises, but I do want to mention how wonderful I think it is that Lyons leaves threads unwoven in at the end, that there are opportunities to come back to this world from more later down the line, and understanding that one single action or set of actions is not going to change everything, is not going to set the world in a perfect state of rightness. We are solving the problem of the series. We're really addressing these deep familial themes as well as the cosmic scale ideas, but there's still issues that we could deal with later on, and it's a world that I would love to revisit if we ever have the opportunity, and certainly one that I look forward in a couple of years to maybe doing another reread of this series as well, because they are just really stunning books, and ones that I was glad to read for the first time and to reread this week. It's one thing for a book to be satisfying the first time through. It's something entirely different when you find that greater richness and depth on a reread several years out. So, highly recommend the Chorus of Dragons Quintet. And, without any further ado, why don't we do what we're all here for? Just make a cocktail. So, our drink for Book 5, The Discord of Gods, is called Skyfire. It is named after one of the cornerstones, these magical artifacts that appear in the book, The Name of All Things. The title of Book 2 is taken from one of these artifacts, and this last one really comes into prominence, Skyfire. It's the one associated with Sarek, the god of the sun, who is a prominent cosmological role in this story, as those of you who have read parts of the series know, and for those of you who are new, it's also an artifact that crops up in one of my favorite scenes in the book, where one of the nastiest piece of work dragons in our eponymous chorus is playing some unfriendly tricks with it. So I thought it was going to be a good backbone for a recipe and is going to complement, as we'll see, some of the gold notes. One of the things that I think we've noticed in the drinks for the series is that they look a little bit like the covers. Not always and not entirely, but there is a visual aspect that I found myself drawn to in working with these books. And so let's get into it. Another aperitiki cocktail, a lot of tropical things, some bittersweet aspects, and it'll be a good time. I'm going to start with an ounce of brandy. Brandy appears all over the place in the books, and it really wasn't until book 5 that I felt like, oh, now I know what drink is going to have the brandy in it. So really drawing on the bit of the world building in a nice way. And so we've got an ounce of our brandy in there. We're going to get 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice just to brighten things up, moving from largest to smallest in terms of our ingredients. Just going to lighten, brighten, bring that sour zing. And then we've got our modifiers. I'm going to start with a 1/2 ounce of that hurricane-proof rum that we used in the Sing for the Dragon for book 1. And I was thinking the dragon that is associated with this cornerstone is Aeneric, the dragon of storms who causes blizzards and snowstorms and hurricanes. So I thought the hurricane-proof rum would be a nice little homage to one of my favorite dragons in the series. So we've got 1/2 ounce of that in there, just bringing a little extra punch to it. Now we've got some yellow chartreuse. It's an herbal liqueur. We've used it before for Caitlin Starling's Verity for the novella Yellow Jessamine, and here it's going to add some golden, herbal, bittersweet notes. Going to just really complement the other ingredients that we've got together. So we've got 1/2 ounce of the yellow chartreuse. And then America's favorite syrup, orgeat. There we go. Gonna get 1/2 ounce of that. Real easy measurements, which is good when you've got a good number of ingredients that are all gonna come together in a complementary way. Makes it a little easier. And it's, again, one of these recipes that'll scale up nicely if you want to make it in your blender or make a pitcher or do a double and serve it in a tiki mug instead of a double old-fashioned glass. And then finally, that little magical ingredient that we were talking about the other week, passion fruit syrup. Going to make everything taste tropical, and in a menu that's really dominated by this idea of tropical drinks and playing with tropical flavors, I feel I would be remiss in not including passion fruit at some point. So we're going to get 1/2 ounce of the passion fruit in there too. As you can see, we've got a decent amount of liquid in there that it can splash out. Now we've got all of our ingredients in our shaker. And as I said, got the double old-fashioned glass. Going to get some of our crushed ice in here. Now very familiar, very seasonally appropriate. And you'll find that drinks with crushed ice tend to be a little bit more alcoholic in their build than ones that are being served neat or up, because you've got this crushed ice here that's going to melt a lot faster and is going to dilute the drink quicker. So having a slightly stronger backbone to the cocktail will lead to a more balanced drink over the lifespan of the drink as you sip it, sit out on the porch, something like that. But we're going to want to get a little bit of the crushed ice already in our glass. And then we'll add just a little bit to our shaker, small scoop, just as the spirit moves you. But remember, we are going to dump this as we did with the Sing for the Dragon, so you don't want to get too much in there or you might miss out on some of your cocktails still in the tins. Seal that up, flat of your hand, and shake it up, wake it up. Wonderful. Nice and frosty, nice and frothy. Give it a good stout tap. There we go. Come on. Yes. And you're good to go. And then just dump that right in there. We've got ice already in. It's going to fit perfectly. And we've got a little bit of space. So if we want to, and I want to, we can get a little more of that crushed ice on top just to really get it nice and chilly. Lovely. There we are. And a stainless steel straw so that we can sip with ease. And so there you have it. We've got our final drink for the final volume of the Chorus of Dragons series by Jenn Lyons. The book is available now. Got a link down below so you can snag it yourself. Special thanks to Tor Books, the publisher, for sending me my copy so that we could have our video on release day. Got a link down below to the Boston Shaker for tools and ingredients, as well as Twitter and Instagram, where there's always a written version of today's recipe. Try the drink. Let me know what you think. Spend some time out on the porch today with a good book. And until next time, cheers.